In this video, we're going to be talking about logo design and branding. So, first off, when you're creating your content and you're niching it down, or maybe you're not niching it down, maybe you're doing something to do with like shoes or food or computer components or anything like that, or clothing, and if you niche it down too much, then you are not in the realm of getting many customers. But starting off small is always quite a good factor, and it's a big factor in being an entrepreneur, because if you start off too big straight away, then it means that your business could basically collapse really quickly, and there's so many different things that could happen that you don't really want it to, that it can do. Let's give you an example. So say that you're doing, say, food. What kind of food you're going to be doing? And obviously the main goal would be to open up your restaurant or a few chain of restaurants, and maybe you could have them in different plots around the country, and that's what you would be able to get your revenue from, because some areas are a little bit lower paid and some areas are a lot higher paid. But then you need to make sure that your craft or your food industry that you're trying to advertise to your consumers is that it's in the right area for it. So say that you go to a poor area. If you noticed, any Sainsbury's, Tesco's or Aldi's or Farm Foods, anything like that, or Marks and Spencer's, you don't necessarily see a Marks and Spencer's in a poor area, but you definitely see like a lower end Tesco's. Even though they're higher end versions of Tesco's, there is lower end Tesco's and lower end Sainsbury's. They're called local supermarkets. They're basically trying to take over like the corner shops. And they do sell quite a few bits, but they're at a little bit more of a higher price, but they're always in stock kind of thing. But if you go to more higher areas, you get like your Waitrose, your Waterstones, and you get your Marks and Spencer's, you get stuff like that, or even like your Starbucks and then your Costas. But then like if you go to a more of a lower area of Tesco's, you'll get like smaller Costas where you can go into Tesco's and get like a machine that fills it up, or a petrol station. But the difference is that you don't have like a sort of coffee cafe sort of shop that you can sit down in and you can have a little conversation with your friends or your family. It's completely different. So that's what you need to be figuring out. What content and what kind of industry that you want to get your business out to, and what people want that you want to see as well. So when it comes down to logos and branding, it's quite complicated, but it's pretty straightforward, because you want everything to be simplistic. If it's simplistic, it's very easy to work on later on down the line. And also, if you do it straight away, it's easy to work on straight away. Now, if we talk about logos, you can go to Canva, you can go to Fiverr, and you can go to these other companies that build your logo through an algorithm or some sort of robot online. But the difference is of having a logo done by a professional company is the fact that it's custom and no one else is going to have it, and you can also get it trademarked and they will have information how to do things. But when you go to like Canva or Fiverr, you're not going to find this out unless you go to someone that has this information that knows about that. And I know that you want to start off and you want everything to be cheap, but if you're classing your logo to be cheap and also your website to be cheap and the branding to be cheap, then your company's obviously going to be cheap. And if your company's going to be cheap, then are you going to be influencing the right customers to come to your website? Because those are the ones that are going to be heavily complaining about small stuff, and you're like, it costs $1.99, what are you complaining about? But you'll still get that headache. Now, if you're going to more people that have got more of a budget to play around with, you can also speak to them on more of a professional level. And if you're speaking to them on a more professional level, that means you're going to feel more comfortable in your company. You're going to feel more that you want to be an entrepreneur. You're going to want to come to work more, and you want to expand the company and your business more. Well, I'm going to give you two examples and a bit of a story. Next example of how not to do things. So for petrol heads out there that are watching this video, if you're a petrol head, this should be a perfect example. So if you've got a really expensive car and it's got a nice engine in it, you're not going to want to put rubbish fuel in it. If you put rubbish fuel in it, in the end, all the oil and gases and stuff in the car is going to definitely wear away really quickly, and your car's not going to last very long. And at the start of it, it was a good idea because it was cheap, but then you cheaped out and now your car needs to be fixed. It's going to cost you more money in the end. Now, for another example, and that would be to do with the food wise, if you're walking around and you're quite healthy, but you're not healthy enough, you decide to take certain attributes in your body to make it run faster, you're cheaping out on it because you're overclocking your body, but you're not putting the right materials in. So if you were to eat the right materials, which would be normal greens and foods, and getting out the white devils, so that would be sugar, milk and flour, because they're all man-made, at the end of the day, you don't really want that in your body, because at the moment it would be really good, and it's like you got milk and it's really good for your body and your teeth and bones and all that sort of stuff, and then you got flour, you can make bread, and you can obviously have that as a substitute and dunk that in your soup and stuff like that. And then you've got sugar, which is really nice. Everyone wants sugar on everything. But in the end, down the line, your body will start to fail because it hasn't got the right nutrients and vitamins inside. And plus, a bonus one is that if you go to the gym and you're eating all the right foods, I can guarantee that you won't even think of the word motivation anymore, because motivation is just a myth. When you eat the right foods, you will have so much energy. You'll be so energized. You'll wake up and you'll be energized and you just want to do things. And then in the end, you would have done everything and then you'll be like, I need to do more. What can I do? And you'll be healthy, clean skin looking and strong, and your mind will be like very creative. You'll come out with ideas and your business will run really well. That's not the cheaping out stage. The cheaping out stage would be eating burgers, chips, anything that's not good for you. Is going to make you feel sluggish. You can't bother to get out of bed. You can't think of ideas. You've got a sweaty, greasy skin. You start to like smell a little bit, so you have to have more showers, and it's taking more time up in your business. At the end of the day, you don't want to be that person. No one wants to be that person. And it's the same with graphic design, branding and logos design. So basically, when it comes down to it, do not cheap out and go with Fiverr or Canva or any companies that will generically make you a logo, because technically you want it to mean something and stand out to the crowd. And the only way you can do that is speak to an actual person that is a design creative. And if there's any problems or any sort of information that you need to grow your business and be an entrepreneur, or even if you've got a business already and you're a multi-millionaire or a billionaire, we are the people that can still help you do this, because without people like us, you can't grow your business. Right, so I'm going to give you another example as well. When you're born, you're already an advertisement. So this is how our creative minds work. We know wherever you go, it's advertisement everywhere. TV, phones. Now, all the advertisements are built into your phones in a small device which you carry with you all the time. You look everywhere and you see colours. That's a design. When you see creative movement, that is like animation, right? But think about it like this. When you're born, you are an advertisement straight away. Now, let's think about it from someone that earns a lot of money, like a couple that earns a lot of money. It would be, what clothes should we get our kid when it's born? We'll get him Christian Dior, we'll get him Moncler, Ralph Lauren, Louis Vuitton, and we'll dress the kid up in all kinds of fashionable clothes. And then you take your kid to an upmarket place, say down in London, and people are already seeing your kid wearing them clothes, and they already got an idea. Their creative minds, the cogs are turning. Like, how much money does that couple earn? Wonder what car they drive. I wonder what house they've got. They start to think like that. You're already a walking advertisement. Everyone in the world is a walking advertisement, and we'll talk about more of this in another video. So this is why this is very important to get your branding right and your logo right and the colours, because when you want customers to see your brand, it needs to be colourful, it needs to be looking modern. Even though it doesn't need to look modern, it depends on what you're actually doing. You might be doing something that's a little bit more old school and it's got to have an older school look. Like Gucci. If you look at Gucci now, do your research down below. I'll leave a link in the description down below about Gucci. You can see that they've done loads of modern stuff, but if you look now in 2021, in, winter time now, you notice that all their stuff looks and like dates back to the 70s and 80s right now. A bit like Stranger Things. I think that was a really good hit because it was kind of old school and it was kind of like Steven Spielberg-ish. It was really weird. It was like, it caught all people off guard. Even like these younger generations that, I think it was like a year ago, they all started watching Friends again. So it's weird. We go forward into the modern era and then we come back as well in history. That's how fashion is. And it's exactly the same with your company. You want to be able to get onto the trends, but also have a long-lasting trend that lasts a long time, so you don't have to keep spending loads of money. In the next video, stay tuned because we're going to be talking about what new trends there are in 2021 and 2022.